Call a meeting to order. Ask Dr. Deegan to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call roll, please.
Mr. Jester?
Here.
Ms. Romeo? Here. Ms. John? Here. Mr. Sharon?
Here.
Dr. Shute?
Here.
Colonel Waters?
Very good. I believe tonight we have a special guest. Dr. Deegan?
For item number 4, we have special guest recognition. We have Dana Moore, and we are going to start this with watching a video of Dana's speech as she was nominated as a finalist. So Lawton Public Schools has a finalist for the State Teacher of the Year for the first time in a while, and if everybody will direct their attention to the screen, we're going to watch her video, and then afterwards we're going to have Dana come up, and we are going to, you guys get to grill her and ask her any questions you'd like to ask her. This is a video of her speech. And while we're waiting for the speech, when I was in we got to see her speech, and I got to see the speech of all of the candidates. There were 12 candidates. 10 showed up that day. 2 couldn't make it. And what struck me, and Dr. Polk was there, and several of us were there, what struck me about Dana's speech is the statesman-like quality she had when she spoke about education. You know, we're looking not only for somebody who represents Lawton Public Schools, we're looking for somebody who represents every teacher in the state. And so how Dana, and this will be tonight, will be our first chance to hear her speech. And I think when you hear it, you'll agree that I wish you could hear all the speeches in context. And I'm just telling you, she did a fantastic job, represented us, and I'm believing she'll represent the state. So.
My name is Dana Moore, and I have taught kindergarten for the last 19 years at Woodland Hills Elementary, and I love my job. I have the unique experience of having attended Woodland Hills as a student and now being there as a teacher, so lots of relationships gained. I obtained a master's degree in early childhood education in 2008, and then I went back and in 2012 earned a master's degree in educational leadership. I love to learn. Teaching is a calling, and I know that God's hands have always been on my heart to go into education. It's an amazing gift when a passion and a career come together, and I get to experience that gift every day. I'm extremely passionate about early childhood education and helping others to understand how important it is to start that foundation for future success. I believe that teachers are servant leaders because we have a tremendous capacity and willingness to sacrifice our own time and energy to lead students to success. And I know that what I'm doing will affect the future. I've heard it said that children may not know all that you know, but what they know is that they will remember how you made them feel. And in my classroom, I have high expectations for my students, but they know that it's okay to make mistakes and take risks, especially when it comes to learning. And they know that I love them. The saying, "You reap what you sow," has been paramount in my career. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 years ago, it was my students and their families, both former and current, that came back to take care of me. I believe that the seeds of encouragement that I had planted all those years before were now my pillars of strength, ready to be there to help me through it. This quote sums up what I believe my best accomplishments and greatest contributions to education are. To use themselves as bridges over which they invite students to cross, and then, having facilitated their journey, collapse and happy in their success. My greatest contributions and accomplishments have been the opportunities to build relationships with students and families and being able to learn and share with others. The learning begins in kindergarten, and I get to help start them on their way for future success. Thank you. I am so honored to be a finalist.
Well, Dana, if you'll join us.
Now I'm going to give you a little bit more background. That day we had, there are 2 or 3 things. First of all, your comment about the bridge, that became our theme for this year because everything we're doing is bridging from the past to the next step. Everything we do is built on the foundation of those came before us. But I want to brag a little bit more. While we were in the conference room, or the green room, it wasn't green at all, I don't understand.
The chairs were
It was, oh, the chairs were green. Governor Fallon came in. I want you to know, she asked for questions. Dana led the conversation with Governor Fallon for the next several minutes about, and made Governor Fallon, it was a great representation of our school. I couldn't imagine a better ambassador for Lawton Public Schools, so I'm going to let you all, if you have any questions for her, or if you have any comments you want to share with the board, I'm going to leave you all Dana Moore.
Thank you. There was awkward silence, when the governor walks in. Ron Clark had been there, and if you're familiar with Ron Clark, we were able to see him speak that day. Amazing educator, very big and alive and moving around, jumping. He really captures your attention. So he was talking to us, and then it got very quiet, and the governor walked in, and everybody was quiet. And I thought, okay, so we got to do something. I teach kindergarten. There's always noise. So it was just natural. But I really enjoyed that whole day. Is still one of the best days in my career to be there with so many amazing educators, and then just to have that experience. So today I experienced, I guess I'm officially old. I will start my 20th year of teaching, and I have a grand kindergartner that is starting. So a student that I had in my first year of teaching 20 years ago today enrolled her kindergartner. So I'm officially old, I think. So I'm really excited about this experience, and I love what I do. I truly have a passion for teaching, and I hope I can bring this home to Lawton and just really represent this area. It was nice. We were on stage, and I had the opportunity to just casual talk with Dr. Barisi, and she was talking about what a wonderful gift we have with Dr. Deegan coming, and she saw so many neat things happening for the Lawton community, and now with this nomination, that kind of adds to it. And I said, well, I hope I can bring it home. I mean, it's 1968 was our last and our only state teacher of the year. So if not, it's okay. I hope to represent well and to make everyone proud, because we've got amazing educators in our community, and I hope I represent them well.
And I think you do.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
If y'all remember, we all took one of our brand new buses full of teachers up to the state capitol. So we had a lot of help. We had a lot of friends for Dana there. And the reasons you got to talk to Dr. Barisi so long is because I got lost. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope I represent.
Thank you, Dana.
Really proud of you, Dana.
And that concludes item number 4.
Very good. Do we have an architect's report tonight?
Yes, we do. We have
I thought I recognized someone.
Jason will take us away on that.
Can you hear me? There you go. This will be the first of many presentations, but I think what Dr. Deegan has asked me to do is just to come monthly and give updates on the construction progress that we're seeing at the Freedom Elementary School. I think we have a photo on the home page of our Lawton Public Schools website. This is actually a live shot of the construction cameras that are in place at the school site. We have 4 cameras actually, and the public should be able to get on and actually kind of change and see what's going on. The school construction started at the very end of May. I think it was the second or the last week in May we got underway with construction, and it's taken them a little bit of time to get all of the dirt work completed. They've actually finished today. Actually, the test all came back and they'd passed. They finished the dirt work for Building A. Building B, D, there's lots of different buildings, but all of that work is done for the most part for what really is our Phase 1. You'll remember from our project that we have 2 different completion times. We're going to go ahead and build the first majority of the school, first 60% of the school, let the children come over from Geronimo Road Elementary School, and then we'll tear that down and do the remainder of the project. The foundations right now are what's going in, and if you drove out there, you'd see a lot of holes in the ground, a lot of drill rigs. They're putting very large piers in the ground. As you know, our soil in Lawton is not very good, so we're working to install a very good foundation that's going to last a long time for the school. Some dates to remember: this month, towards the end of the month, around the 20th of August, is when our first big steel pieces are going to show up. And you'll see those go in all the way down our long hallway. And then a week later, on the 27th of August, we should see some very large concrete pieces coming in. Those are being made off-site, and they're being trucked in. And those are forming up our gigantic hallway that we have that connects all of these massive classroom buildings together. Utility work is underway. They're bringing our water in, our fire hydrants, our gas, all of the different things that right now go to the existing school. They're bringing all that into the new building. The electrical is about to be set. You'll see some large boxes being put in the ground. These are our big concrete boxes where they'll bring the power into the school. Our hope is that, and this is what the Army's asked us to do, our hope is that when the construction is complete, we'll no longer have any overhead electrical lines. We will have everything underground going right to the school, and it'll look nice and clean and very up to date. That really concludes the update I have. We'll visit again in September, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. Open it up.
They're finishing, is that the compaction?
Yes.
And just grading and
That's
compacting?
correct. Mhm. They've regraded. They've stripped down about 30 inches of poor soil, and they've brought new material in that is better suited for supporting a floor slab. And they've put that in 9-inch increments. They've tested each 9 inches before they go to the next section of dirt.
Raise the compaction to 95 from 90.
They did go to 95. That's correct.
Awesome.
So, but some of those piers are, they're gigantic. Some of them, it'll take 3 truckloads of concrete to fill up just one hole. So, you'll.
I know you've been, everybody's been working on it because I do the line locates for everything on Fort Sill. My office does, and I see that every 7 days come through.
Well, the school has a full-time person, Kent Ledford's there
Yeah.
every day, and he's constantly meeting with the contractor and his subcontractors, and he's keeping us informed. We're there several times, once or twice a week, and that'll continue for the next 2 years, 3 years. So.
What is the website, or is there a link to view that?
I believe if you go to the Lawton Public Schools homepage, which is lawtonps.org, I believe under the home page, there's a link to the cameras.
Under the Home tab, it has Freedom Elementary Progress, I believe is what it says.
Yeah, and you can actually see it on our monitors here.
Yep, right there under the Home tab.
I know that I had sent Dr. Deegan an email, and then he sent you something. Can you tell us a little bit about the physical, the speech therapist rooms and
Yes. We have, as you will remember, we have 7 grade levels in the school, starting from pre-kindergarten going to 5th. Except for the pre-kindergarten, where there's, I think, 9 classrooms, those grade levels really have about 10, they have 10 rooms. So in one particular wing, you would have 10 classrooms all organized around a bathroom and an administrative area, a teacher break room, and those kinds of things. One of those classrooms, no matter what age group it's assigned to be provided care for, will have its own restroom and some larger storage areas, so that teachers who would have special needs students could use that particular school room to treat and meet the needs of the school, of the children in that age group. We also have counselor offices spread throughout the whole facility, so that if I have a counselor who maybe is working with 5th and 4th graders, he or she is going to be in that area of the building throughout the day, and our students won't have to make the trek all the way to a central area. We also have put into the project, this will be at the board's decision, but there is some pricing in there, if the school would like, to install voice reinforcement in a special needs classroom. We have a very a very high-performance audiovisual system in the school, and that's already part of the contractor's bid. One thing we did do as an alternate was we asked for a price, and I don't remember what the cost was, but we asked for a price to make a classroom have additional voice reinforcement. And what that system really would do is give the teacher a lanyard, which would serve as a microphone. There would be additional loudspeakers in the classroom, and the system would basically, elevate her voice level so that those students in the room could hear. It's actually a neat system that was developed by a mother whose child had some hearing difficulties, and she worked with the school that that her child was attending to develop this product. And so now she sells it through this large manufacturer, and we've had the privilege of offering it to the school. So if that's something the school would like to do, those 7 rooms or 6 rooms or what have you could also have the ability to have the voice reinforcement. Other questions?
Do you know if there's a larger room that can be made available for like a ball pit or Amtrikes for the special needs kids?
Yes, we have, in addition to the multi-purpose spaces, we do have, and it is actually intended primarily for our younger children, but we have a large indoor play area, which could be furnished for that particular purpose. Now, there's not a room at the south end of the campus, which is really where most of our children are. I mean, there's about 800 children in Building A, which is our 2-story classroom building. If you go down to Building E and F on the north end, closer to the existing school, we really only have about 29 classrooms, while there's 40 in Building A. But we have lots of multi-purpose space in the school. We have lots of classroom space, which really isn't what I would call a home room. We've got art rooms and science rooms and those kind of things. So taking one of those rooms, if we wanted to, and furnishing it or equipping it to serve those kind of needs would definitely be an option.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jason. We have a departmental report tonight.
We do not.
Report of the superintendent.
Okay, under the report of the superintendent, we have 2 items. One of them is a recurring item every year, and that's the first item. And this is information item, end of year budget update from Dianne Branstetter.
All right. I placed at your table an actual summary of all the different 11 funds that we have. Of course, they are in the agenda starting page 12. So if you don't mind, I'd like for you to turn to actually page 13 of the agenda. And I wanted to visit just a little bit more in depth about the general fund itself. On the bottom of page 13, you see it has a fund balance column of what it was on July 1st of 2012 and where we ended on June 30th of 2013. And you can see the difference. We ended $1,655,000 a year ago, and we have $5,109,000 at the end of this school year. And then we have 2 other sets of numbers below that, and I wanted to bring attention to that because yes, our fund balance may have ended at $5,109,000, but you have to take out what we consider our inventory, which is our inventory at the basement, our gas on hand, those sorts of things. So sometimes it's a little bit deceiving when you look at that $5,109,000 and think that's really what our carryover is. That's what our assets are worth. Our cash carryover is actually the $4,754,370.67. That's what our cash carryover ended a year ago. Okay, so now we'll go back to the actual summary of all the funds. And if you'll recall that during the course of the year, we talked a little bit about the district-wide portion of the general fund and the non-district-wide portion of the general fund. So I also broke that down in the middle of the fund balance summary page, where it talks a little bit about the fund balance. Yes, we had $5,109,000. I took out the inventories of $354,000, which leaves the $4,754,000. But I took the time to break that back down so that you could actually see that only $4,305,866.26 is what the district's carryover is. The $448,000 of the rest of it were the federal funds. So I wanted to try to keep that in line with the same way we presented the other budgets during the course of the year. And then down below you can see the balance in each of the funds, all 11 funds that we have, and you can see the difference from where we ended June of last year to where we are June of this year, and you can see the difference. The carryover in the general fund was up by $3.4 million, and if you'll recall, the main reason for that increase was the mid-year adjustment that we got in February, and we chose not to do anything at that point in time, waiting really to see what was going to take place with the state aid this year. Because sometimes you hate to do that, depending upon enrollment and that sort of thing. You really don't want to take that leap of faith just yet until we were confident enough that we knew that that money would be reoccurring again this year. So you can also see that, of course, the co-op fund just holds 2 federal funds in it. So when it closes, you basically have nothing left. You spent the money, you claimed it, you're even in the co-op fund. In the building fund, we ended up at $867,000, which was an increase of $276,000, which really helped the building levy to be able to start this year being able to do the things they need to do between July and December before ad valorem money comes in. So I think we've done a great job there also. Of course, the municipal fund is going to continue to go down as we spend those funds on those projects. The bond fund, again, same thing. They'll go down. It's gone down $2.5 million. But you can see we have $4 million of it. I think we spoke in the last board meeting about the different projects that was already earmarked for. And in upcoming board meetings, we'll go back over that again, so we'll kind of know where those projects are. Okay, and then the sinking fund again, we had $6.9 million, but again on August the 1st, we had to pay one of our bonds of $3 million. So today, this week, it's only at $3.9 million. Okay, the endowment fund, we run some scholarships and endowments out of that account. The activity fund really didn't do a whole lot up or down either way. I was really surprised that how well they really did. I really expected the activity fund to be much lower than it was since we shifted all the expenses to the activity fund. So they did really a pretty good job maintaining their revenue. Okay, and the gifts account, the same thing. We run some scholarships out of there. And our workers' comp fund, all that is an old workers' comp claim that we've had for probably 20 years, and it'll stay there forever, and we just continue to have to pay that one claim on that one. And then it does say the cafeteria fund, but really what we're running out of it is our sick leave incentive account, and it dropped $323,000, and if you'll recall, the reason that it dropped was we moved $274,000 of it to balance the budget a year ago from that fund, and also with the number of retirements that came out of that fund. So basically that fund will then continue each year to build itself back up, and all we pay for out of that is actually the sick leave to the people that are retiring each year. Okay, any questions on that? Any comment? I think we did a great job. I will say that the decisions that have been made in the last couple of years to hold spending down, the way we handled our substitutes, those sorts of things are why we are where we are today, and I think that is a great compliment to the employees of the district. Okay? Okay, I guess we'll move into the next item on the agenda, which are the salary increases. Okay.
I've asked Dianne to walk you through how we looked at different options and how we came to this decision, because this impacts everybody in the district in one way or another. And again, as Dianne has said, the decisions you all made as a board with Mr. Beecham and how you worked the finances last year put us in this position to be able to do this. She'll do much better job of explaining it, but I wanted you to understand we're trying to give you an idea of the options we looked at and why we came to the decision we came to.
Okay. All right. On the left-hand side, we started with what would it cost to give every employee one step increase, and that's called your year of experience. Okay, that's just normal. That's been in policy. That's the way we've always done everything. But we have held that harmless, I guess, if you want to call it, or steady for the last 2 years. Okay. So it was going to cost us $1,326,000 to give everybody a step increase, a year of experience. And we also came down and looked at giving the support grade increases. That's what every support employee are in grade categories, and that's the way they earn their additional raises as time moves on, either in 2-year increments or 4-year increments. Those two had been held for the last 2 years. We had not given any of those. We also looked at a few years ago, because we stopped those 2 years of increments, we had to shift the salary schedules down, which then caused level 0, 1, and 2 to all be the same raises. And the reason we had to do it that way was because we all still were here a year longer, so that year of service didn't match or come across on the salary schedule, so we had a little bit of confusion from time to time, especially when you brought new people into the district. If they brought years of service from someplace else, they were then put on that same level, but they got the 2 years by accident that none of the other employees did, so we had to come up with a way of making it even for everybody across the scales. So we had to shift everybody down 2 years, which leaves the top 2 scales with no pay increase for 2 years or 3 years. 0, 1, and 2 are all the same. So we did toss it around a little bit, as you can see, what we called a micro step for the certified employees from 0 and 1, and the micro step between the support for 0 to 1. We kind of tossed it around as to what it would take to give maybe a half a step of some of that nature. We got some figures there. But after we tossed that around a little bit longer, we thought that the 2 years, let me go over to the next column. In option number 1, if you restored everybody back into place, all 3 years plus the support grades, just what we would have normally done in any given year to bring everybody up to date, it would cost the district $4.3 million in reoccurring revenue, because that's going to continue from year to year to year. So obviously that's quite a big chunk of change. So that was one option. The second option was to give all employees their 1 year of service, which was the $1.3 million, and the grades to all the support employees, which comes to a total of $1.6 million. Again, we tossed around in option 3, giving the support and the certified a portion of a step called a micro step. But after thinking about that, if we gave those employees that micro step, and we did not go back and give every certified and support employee the year that they missed, then they would be getting a raise in the year that those employees never did. So that's where we came up with that option. At least we did toss it around, but it did not seem the most equitable thing to do. So all in all, you see the box down here that says state aid. Again, as I refer to the carryover from a year ago, where that money came from. Our state aid last year, when we started the budgeting process, was at $49 million. When we ended, it was 53. So that's where we came up with the $3.2 million in new reoccurring revenue. So I took those same figures and took it against the FY14 state aid that we received a week or so ago. And it was actually a decrease of $629,000. So we felt like all that we had to really work with was $2.6 million. So when we tossed it all around, the best option that we could come up with was we were going with option 2, which seemed the most equitable across the district and within what reoccurring revenue we felt the district could hold. Are we good with that?
Yeah. Very well done. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Helene.
When you say all employees, does that include administration also?
Yes, all employees that would have normally been in our.
Right.
Now, if they were over that 28th step, then no. That's always been the policy, and that's the way it
Explain that
is.
to us a little bit. Like, what are the steps currently? Like, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or is it then go to 10, then go to 15?
No, it goes from 0
1
to 28.
Okay.
I say 0 to 28,
And
but
that's
there are only
28 years.
26 increments because the other top ones don't have raises.
Okay.
So there's really only 26 increments that have been in place for many years in the district, and that's as far as we've ever gone. If we tried to go back, I did ask for that information this morning. There are 227 employees, but you multiply that by a raise for every person. But again, then you would have to you would have to match that every year
Every
from
year.
that point on.
Basically, if we pass this, and from here on out, we just will have dropped 2 years, and we're going to continue on.
That's correct. I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is where we're going, and we got to move forward from here, because as you see, $4.3 million of reoccurring revenue we will not get back, so there's no way to go back and put that into place.
Very good question.
And are
Because
we,
this impacts so many people, we wanted to make sure that people understood why we didn't restore the 2 years that were lost. Unless the state of Oklahoma came in and gave us those $10 million, we couldn't do that. But it's also important, just as we move forward, this was the most equitable, fair thing. The board does not have to actually act upon this because this is already existing policy and existing adopted salary scale. We're just continuing it without suspending as we had to do here. So I apologize, Helena, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
that's okay, I've lost my train of thought.
So, of course, we had to vote to not
Right.
Right.
do the step increases,
That's
but
correct.
since we've reinstated them,
We're good.
we don't have to act on it.
Essentially not acting.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you, Diane. Okay, do we have any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda tonight?
I don't have anything. None for me.
Hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Call the roll, please.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Mr. Sharon?
Yes.
Ms. Romeo?
Yes.
Dr. Schutt?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes. Tonight, I believe we do not have a need to go into executive session. Superintendent's personnel report, item 13 would be next.
For item 13A, I would recommend that we vote to approve the employing, promoting discipline, or receiving the resignations of the individuals certified and support salaried personnel listed on pages 56 through 59 of your agenda.
Approved. Second?
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Romeo?
Yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Dr. Schutt?
Yes.
Mr. Sharon?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes. Consideration of new business, item 14. Our next regular board meeting date is Thursday, August 15th here. Is there any need to set any other board meeting dates? Any board announcements?
I have an announcement.
Good, I figured you did.
Don't forget about Oklahoma State School Board Association Conference. It's the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of this month. And you need to get if you haven't already done so and you're going, you need to get your information into Denise so she can get you registered. And I also want to congratulate the 3 young men that were chosen from Lawton to participate in the 2013 All-State Wrestling Tournament. They all did a fine job, and we're all proud of them.
Well, you can mention one in particular.
Okay, my grandson, and he won. Danny Maldonado, okay? He beat a kid that's been beating him for many, many tournaments, and we are very proud of him.
We are, that's great.
To underscore the process that we went through. I did make one little change to the agenda that I want you to be aware of that will probably be from here on out. Dianne Branstetter has been referred to as the comptroller. She's been referred to as the treasurer. She is all those things. But if you go back for the last 10 years, she has been approved by the board in our annual financial report as the chief financial officer. So from now on, I will just be listing her report as the report of the chief financial officer. Great.
Okay.
Thank you. She's been invaluable in this process. So.
Awesome.
And thank you, Donna, for mentioning OSSBA. And that's all I have.
Do we need a motion to approve that, though? To approve her as Chief Financial Officer?
Our title has been approved for the last 10 years in our financial report. It's a document that's been approved every year, so she's been functioning in that aspect, so I just want to recognize her in her rightful role.
Do we need to, okay.
I had a question about when the finalists for this, I always didn't get to ask you, when they're going to announce the Teacher of the Year for the state?
Oh.
I actually have my interview August 29th at the Capitol, and then at this time, the tentative date is September 17th. We'll get more information later this week for the firm details, and as soon as I get that,
Now, how many finalists were there, do you remember? 12. 12, and then will they pare that down, or they'll just announce a winner from the 12?
at this point, we'll do our interview with the state selection committee, selected by Dr. Reese, and then we'll have a roundtable discussion with them. We are producing video, I'm currently working with Matt Baker from our media center on getting the video produced that we also have to submit.
Okay.
So as far as I know, after that, August 29th, then we wait.
Thank you.
And it'll be announced at the state fair, I'm sorry, that's a fair
Okay.
We're very proud of you, Dana.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second. Call the roll, please.
Dr. Schutz? Ms. Romeo?
Yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Mr. Sharon?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes.